Hello, my friends. So, full of energy?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, at Himalayan peaks or beyond that? Good. Wonderful to hear that. So, today is a very important day. A day which is very important for me personally also. But at the same time, I think it is very important for the entire public sector of India. For the simple reason that one of my mentors, or rather my first mentor in the industry, was none other than the gentleman you see on the right, Dr. V. Krishnamurthy. I was to some extent lucky, but to a larger extent, I think fate and destiny which comes in. I met him when he had joined the National Manufacturing Competitive Council, because that was after his stint of doing a lot of things like first building BHL itself and then turning around Maruti Udyog, a SIC unit, into a manufacturing enterprise, which is the Maruti Suzuki. The joint venture was brought up by him. And then a lot of things happened. I'll declare all the others later, but SAIL also was turned around, and we have none other than Mr. Singhal with us, R.K. Singhal, who is there on the dais with us for the story, a little bit to endorse what I have written also. And at the same time, my experience with him was a very, very interesting time, because the 2004 to 2014, when he was the chairperson of the National Manufacturing Competitive Council, which was established to actually find how the industry can go competitive by virtue of adoption of certain advanced technology, because that was the missing element in the whole game. And I tell you that as history would although repeat itself or something great would happen, BHL came from 5 gigawatt to 20 gigawatt in that period, and there was a man Friday to that. And that man Friday was actually introduced to me by Krishnamurthy-Father. His name was K. Ravi Kumar. He could not come because health-wise he lives in Chennai. I keep meeting. He's the chairman of my jury and the board, not only for these awards, but also the ENERTIA awards and the other jury. So he was the, and we give a big clap to K. Ravi Kumar Saab, who is our chairperson. So he has written the foreword for this book. The book's foreword ideally was written by K. Ravi Kumar, because he did a repeat, in the sense, with the mentorship of Krishnamurthy Saab, with my in-between interacting with both of them, and then building BHL into this. It is a story which is not written in anywhere. So that is the new story that will come in my book. You know, so what happened, BHL reached the 20 gigawatt, and that's the reason that today even JSW Toshiba joint venture will go, Mitsubishi L&T will go, all will be wound off more or less, or they will not be able to do. But BHL is still there, making supercritical machines and ultra supercritical machines for India. So this is a qualifying statement that why the public sector enterprise of India, this story is going to end nowhere. It is going to go forward, my friends. So please give a big hand for this day. Although we keep talking private sector, but the public sector of India are very important for this nation and the nation building. So with this message, I want to tell you that today we have a bunch of wonderful PSUs. Many of them have come. We have going to miss 3 or 4 because of some other reasons. A couple of them for flight reason. A couple of them because they were just stopped because of their own internal problems. But we will also announce the acceptance of the award of these PSUs as well. So I'm very thankful to all the PSUs who have come, because it's a great difficulty to do these functions, because we are a complete non-profit. We don't go into any commerce most of the times of the kind that you see in the market. Foundations, these foundations have survived with their own help, and there is some little help coming, like you see the All-State Group. May I have the All-State Group representative here? Please stand up for everybody. They have a little bit backed us to do this award, because they understood my pain that how to support a function for the PSUs. So a few private sector also endorsed my position. That is the good news for you. So with this, we are going to start this function, and before I start, and we have had the auspicious lighting of the lamp, we have invoked the, I would say, the magnificent cosmic, I would say, powers, and we have asked them to bless all of us who have come here. And with this, I request people on the dais to join us, starting with the chairman of New Delhi Institute of Management, and he has backed throughout all our initiatives. May I request Shri Vishwamohan Bansal Saab to please come to the dais first up. As the भाई तालियां अभी बहुत जोर से बजनी चाहिए, है ना? The next person, in obviously the honor, the honor of having him here, and he is the senior most amongst all of us, is Dr. V.K. Garg, the former chairman of the Power Finance Corporation and a former regulator of the Electricity Commission in India. Please give him a big hand. ये जोर कम नहीं होना चाहिए, गर्मी पैदा होगी, सर्दी नहीं लगेगी आपको. आइए साहब. अच्छा लगाया जी? आप इधर ही बैठिए. May I request the next gentleman, Mr. R.N. Mishra, former chairman of Satlaj Jal Vidyut Limited, one of our stalwarts, who is going to be also recognized individually today. Please give a big hand. He led the largest hydropower project of the country in the Satlaj Basin, 1500 megawatt, and another of my guru, Yogendra Prasad, whose biography was released in the same place, thanks to Bansal Saab. He was his guru also. So please give a big hand to the stalwart. May I now request Shri K.M. Singh, former chairman and managing director of NHPC, and a man with whom I interacted maximum, Iyer sir, during the period when he led. भाई तालियां कम नहीं होनी चाहिए. Iyer sir. So he led NHPC very brilliantly, and before that, his stint was on the Narmada Basin, the National Hydro Development Corporation in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. He was the chief of that and MD of that company, and then later on he took over as the managing director and chairman of NHPC. A wonderful stalwart who is amongst us. Sir, thank you, sir, for taking time off. He is more or less now पूरे retirement में है, लेकिन हमारे लिए तो आ गए, and that's great, sir. काफ़ी बातें होती हैं हमारी फ़ोन पे, जैसे मिश्रा साहब से भी होती हैं. So these are wonderful gentlemen that we have. May I request now Mr. D.P. Goyal, former chairman, former MD and CEO of JP Group, JP Hydro. He has come 2-3 times at least in this forum, or more than that, and he has been the leader in the hydropower development also and infrastructure. He built the fastest hydropower project in the country, Karchamangtu, which was flat commissioned in 4 years, where hydro takes a lot of time. इन्होंने 4 साल में किया, and he was also involved with the biggest project that supplies power to India from Bhutan. He and R.N. Khazanchi Saab, who is also his colleague, both of them developed the Tala hydroelectric scheme in Bhutan, 1020 megawatt. Please give them a big hand. Let me now request our R.K. Singh Saab, R.K. Singhal Saab, as I introduced him as the man who interacted a lot at the time with me also, and knew Krishnamurthy Saab very well. Please, Singhal Saab, he was the executive director of Steel Authority of India Limited. So he retired, but he is very active even now, very active personality. Please give him a big hand. We are lucky to have him. Aye, sir. May I now request our all-weather friend and a man who is a video champ. I say he makes videos which nobody can make, and he keeps doing things extraordinary. And he was also like almost the ED of the Airport Authority of India, retired as GM, but man who I considered as a nothing less than a director, a communication expert and a PR expert, par excellence in the nation, G.S. Baba Saab, Gurmukh Singh Baba. Agrawal Saab is left. Achha, may I request Vijay Agrawal Saab, the odd man out, but very important for us, because I have been introduced to him thanks to a network of things, but when I met him, I found that this man is doing an extraordinary work. I will take 1 minute to explain what he does. Agrawal Saab is actually working for years together to develop something where the fundamental gut bio, which is actually the main issue for us in the health. So I wanted a health person, a neutral person to be on the dais with us, but he has developed this product after 5 wonderful years of research, only launched it after 5 years. More, I think around 5 lakhs, we can say people. Around 5 lakh people. This is the largest testing ever done on any product in the medical arena, be it allopathic or be it Ayurvedic. But this I would say an Ayurveda and naturopathy combination hybrid. And this is a wonderful thing. They get extraction of the compound from their German partners or European partners. Yeah, US partners. And they do not extract it here. But after that, they do all the formulation in Baddi, Himachal Pradesh. It's a very interesting company, because this is an area, I go to many areas of research. So one of the areas of research, I feel this is a fantastic thing that has happened. So please give Vijay Agrawal Sahab a big hand. I think with all these stalwarts, the first thing, if Tyagarajan is ready? Okay, sir. We'll release the book first. Krishnamurthy Sahab, then we will discuss. So I'll keep you busy. Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, 1925. Actually, he was born 1925. And when he started his career, there was in 1930s when he was very young, there was a big flood that happened in the Tanjore district where I come from. Also, my colleague Tyagarajan also comes from. Originally, we belong to Tanjore, and he was from the Kuruveli village. And there was a big flood, and a very well-to-do family lost all its land, right? And after they lost land, people did not know what to do because people were not that much educated. Very little education used to be there. People used to be happy with what they get from the field. But the one thing that happened is Krishnamurthy Sahab did a diploma that time in engineering. And then the first assignment was when the Japanese were closer to, coming closer to India, 2 airfields were to be developed, and he started his career in a temporary assignment as a technical expert for these 2 airports, for the defense forces. So that's how he started. And then later on joined the Madras Electricity Department as a supervisor for hydro projects. So that is the background, why we have so many hydro people here. Right? Please give the big hand. I will continue the story after we release. May I request all to please release the book officially. Thank you. I think this book, we have 2 copies, and I think all the senior people should be given. I would also request, let me be here. May I request Prashant Raba to join us on the dais, please. Prashant, please come on the dais. He was also in Bharat Electronics. Prashant Raba has a PSU background and a very close friend of mine. He is my northeast man. Very important area for us. So, I'll begin. I'm free to go. Okay, so the book has tried to do justice to Dr. Krishnamurthy in whatever fashion we can. Because see, nowadays people don't read very long books. So I keep my books below 100 pages. So this is a 92-pager, and it is the highest number of pages I've given. I do not have the copies of my personal books. I don't know, Tyaga can give. But there are the biographies copy. Okay, so I don't have Prasad Saab's biography because unfortunately it's out of print. But the biographies that I have written first starts with Atal Bihari Vajpayee Saab. The first biography, Atal Shastri. Right? So you people have not seen it, so first time I'm bringing it here. यहाँ भी मैंने कभी दिखाया नहीं है. It's the first time. Then we had Narasimha Sutra. It took me long time. 2016 I could do Vajpayee Saab's biography. Then it was Narasimha Sutra. And that was on the 101st year. We went to Telangana. In Hyderabad, we released it in 2022. So this is Narasimha Sutra. Another great man who transformed India. All youngsters must read How to Come Out of Financial Trouble. If you want to know, and Dr. Manmohan Singh was his right-hand man, finance minister. The third one is another great prime minister, Rajiv Gandhi. This was released on 1st December, Rajiv Samhita. Now, background is he was a technically sound man, and he took a lot of friends, like Dr. Patkar is there today. The supercomputer is born thanks to the encouragement Rajiv Gandhi did, and Krishnamurthy Sahab ka bhi. But in this book, I have avoided because that was a turnaround thing. So the turnaround thing comes into Krishnamurthy's own biography today. But Rajiv Gandhi was the another biography that I wrote. Prasad Sahab ki biography likhi, par mere paas copy nahi hai. But that is my second mentor, Yogendra Prasad, my first mentor. I could do only, this is but landmark, 100th year of his birth anniversary. Today we have entered the 100th year. So in the centenary year, this is being released. So thanks to all my people on the dais, what an occasion. Said that 100 years pe release kari. So apne liye bhi taali bajaiye, and I hope a few of these books, a few of this stuff has to go into your library. Now I tell you where it started with Krishnamurthy Sahab. And this book, I don't have any copies left, just this one copy, because I'm not printing them. This is, Bansal Sahab ke paas to copy hogi. This is called India Brandish, Superpowering Brand India. And the 2 books that did well at the time on this, I would say one was a commercial book, so I'm not taking it, but I will tell you about that book. But the 2 books that came on the India idea were this book. I'm the poorer cousin because obviously the other great man is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who wrote India 2020. So my timeline, if you read here, is 2022, right? Unfortunately, we could not achieve what we had to do at the time. but the book remains and it keeps modifying itself. This was released by Bhuvan Kanduriji in Delhi in 2015 when the whole idea of the 5 trillion economy came. And it did not come as a 5 trillion economy, it came as a different proposition. What we proposed is if India can build 600 gigawatt of power production capacity, 500 to 600, then we would be going to 5 trillion. That was my statement, and it was Bhuvan Kanduriji who released the book, and we discussed this in Delhi. This was circa 2015. So that book came out because of the encouragement I got from this man, Dr. V. Krishnamurthy. 2003, this first volume of the book had come. This is the 4th edition print. And what happened is, Krishnamurthy Sahab said, you should do a book on India. So I was motivated because of him. After, he was constantly telling me. But I'm very happy that this book, I could give it to him when he became the National Manufacturing Competitive Council chairman. Right? So he knew what I had done after that. So an encouragement of sorts. So my writing or authorship literally started with this first book. And after this, there are several books. There's Power Sector book, Powering Crisis, Dr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia, and Miles Greenbaum, the US Department of Energy Secretary then, in 2005, released this book. It has also done 4 rounds. On our NITs, we are all alumnus. So we wrote a book. There was no book on the NITs. So NITs and the Indian economy, the only book on NITs is here. So you can access if you are in touch. And I did a book, thanks to Bansal Saab, that we released in October, this book called Immunomics, India, Middle East and Africa. It is a 40 trillion SDG economy. Anybody working on the area of sustainable development goals will understand what I am trying to say. So this book is a landmark book again, because there is no trade bloc in the world called IMEA. So we are trying to push our government to say that we want a trade bloc of this type, because there is no point in going to the European Union, because they will only try to sell their goods. But actually, the economy that can transform the world is Africa, because Africa is having 60% of the arable land of the world and is going hungry. So this is an absolute dichotomy. It can't happen. Middle East is a 5 trillion economy with 483 million people. We are 1.5 billion. We do 3.5 trillion. So what Middle East is doing is a clear traction. If we can integrate this Middle East Africa game, 40 trillion, I'm telling you, we will be 13 trillion by 2032, which I keep saying. So this is a landmark book. All this has happened at this institution with my association here as an associate dean, and I'm trying to do my best because I'm the insider-outsider kind of thing. I don't sit here, but do my work. That's it. And Bansal Saab encourages, and we have brought many discussions here. So one of the days today is a landmark day because it's first time that the public sector is coming here. They come to Scope, they come to other areas, but this is the first time to the NDIM, sir. So give a big hand to them for being with us today. Now, before I proceed to anything and the awards and declarations and all, I want some things to be said about Krishnamurthy Sahab. Of course, my book will say a lot, but I want the people who had experience to talk about it, experience with him, and there are some extraordinary stalwarts here, and I want their word. And I would like to start with none other than R.K. Singhal and then Mr. G.S. Bawa. Bawa Sahab next up honge. Singhal Sahab, please come over.
Good evening, and people on the dais and off the dais. Professor Dr. Vishwa Mohan Bansal Sahab, Dr. V.K. Garg, R.N. Mishra Sahab, Shri K.M. Singh, Shri G.P. Goyal, Mr. G.S. Baba, Vijay Agarwal, Professor A.J. Iyer, and students and senior officers, and my good friend Dr. A.J. Iyer. And he actually, with his fervent and vibrant appeal, has energized all of us. His foundation speaks as inertia, not inertia, giving the energy. And whenever I have met him, I always found him so vibrant and all the time bubbling with energy. I think there was no occasion in my interaction with him that I found him always full of energy. So I am too small a person to speak about Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, because wherever he was, he influenced the life of the people, not only in the organization he worked, but he always believed that no organization can survive without taking care of the communities where we are working. And as Professor Iyer told, that he started his career in a very humble way in a Karuville as a technician in the airfields. And then in between the story, I will skip that Tamil Nadu thing. Then he joined Planning Commission. as an assistant or something supervisor, as a research officer. So there, the father of the Indian Planning Commission, the seniors will know here, that father of the Indian Planning Commission was Mohanlal Obis.
Yes.
He took a liking for him. Then he made him his, some kind of, these days we call it technical officer. He was made his technical officer. So the story goes that Mohanlal Obis sir will take him to the Planning Commission meetings. So in one of the meetings, the great Prime Minister Pandit Nehru heard him. And then after Krishnamurthy goes, he asked Mohanlal, who is this boy? He said, he's my assistant. So he said he should come for every meeting. Dr. Krishnamurthy Sahab's a great beginning in him would have given such a boy, hardly 25, I think he was born in 1925, it is 1952, at the age of 27, would have gone to his head, but it didn't. All his life, he told us that he was guided by few things, that treating people, giving importance to people and treating them with dignity. We have seen, whenever he come out of his office, chairman office in SAIL, suppose he has to go on tour. His PS was Mr. Vijay Notra. So he will come and stand like this in the front of, he could call Vijay inside also. Vijay, you know, I have to go to Durgapur, so you please make my program. So that was Mr. Krishnamurthy, and he always believed in communicating with the people. And when he came to SAIL, we had stalwarts, those days stalwarts who have made their life, what they call in the filmy language, made their bones in the steel plants, in the blast furnace, in the open hearth furnace, in the rolling mills, in the cocoa mills. Those are the hot areas. So those days, sir, people from those areas will become the MD and chairman. They said, ये आदमी तो बाहर से आया है, BHEL में काम किया है, he has worked only, so I'm in between, if I speak in Hindi, don't mind. So he said, ये तो बाहर से आया, ये क्या करेगा? किच्छु करते पारबे ना, बांग्ला में बोलते हैं दुर्गापुर वगैरह में, हर एक जगह अपनी लैंग्वेज में किच्छु करते पारबे ना. तो हम लोग भी, I had joined in 1983, so many of my friends told me, why did you go to SAIL? Why did not go to others? So I got few other offers which I did not join, and somehow stuck to SAIL. But we were little, young age, we were little disappointed. I was in Durgapur. So we were little, because of the background, political background, 1971, we were little afraid. Don't mind if it gets extended, my talk, because you will be talking, explaining my personal experiences. So we were little afraid of talking to unions. And always, there was a overtime culture. Nobody could say, our seniors will say, bhai, sham ko, chupchap overtime sign kar dena. On my signature, he will get the overtime. That was the culture. So we were all little disappointed. Why did we not accept the other offers? Suddenly when Mr. Krishnamurthy joins, तो 8-10 महीने तक कुछ नहीं, nothing happens for 8-9 months. But during that time, what he was doing, he personally interacted with almost 25,000 people, and also met the unions, stakeholders, and everybody. He met a lot of people. And then one day I was sitting in my office with my friend, we were taking tea in the room. So we get a small booklet with letter, Dear Rakesh, Krishnamurthy. So it was a kind of other seniors say, आज तक किसी chairman से इतना junior के पास, nobody has got the letter like this. That was the first thing. We thought किताब आया है, चला जाएगा dustbin में. That was the, but we were wrong. The next day we found all our top management people were called to this Management Training Institute, Ranchi was there, central place. SAIL ka hai. This all people, we are very fantastic institute. Sometime I will ask people to invite Bansal Saab there, and then he can see for himself. So there, all those big shots, MD level, they did the brainstorming. After the brainstorming, they came out with certain points. And then we were given something called priorities for action. That book had five priorities of action. Those priorities of action was improving work culture, making optimal use of installed facilities, then increasing productivity, generating profits through control of cost, and providing better customer service. Very simple thing, but these simple statements he converted them to multi-dimensional approach. Those approaches, I will reflect few of them. And the first thing what he did was, he hit the nail where it hurts most. You know, whether public sector or private sector, all levels, not that key unions alone, even officer level. We create some holy cows. You can't touch them. So those days when we had joined, I was in non-works department. So we had joined, the timing was 10 to 5. My friend Bhimsen is here, he will certify. 10 to 5 timing was there. And Krishnamurthy have said that 10 to 5, 7 hours तो कुछ भी नहीं होता है. Public sector at least 8 hours तो है. Nowadays, our another person, Mr. Murthy, another Murthy is talking. We should have 70 hours a week. So he said कुछ भी नहीं होता. Then he said 9 o'clock everybody has to come. And then there was a huge uproar. People tried to stop his car in front of the corporate office. And some union people, they also tried to oppose. He didn't say, because he was a very polite person. He went to his room, and people like Mr. Bhimsen, he was in personal department, they were asked to draft the transfer order for all the union leaders. They were all sent to, our plants or some Salem or somewhere. And they all tried to put political pressure, because he had political immunity. He was said no, because when he was to become the chairman of SAIL, so he refused. He narrated the story in his, we did not know, in the story in his autobiography, that at the helms. So I told Nehru, Arun Nehru told him, Prime Minister wants you to take over SAIL. He said, no, I will not. He said, though he will ask me to, he will judge me on the basis of my SAIL performance in SAIL. He said, no, I promise you, he will not judge you. He put me on the Prime Minister, connected to the Prime Minister. He said, I will not judge you. Then he was approved to be the chairman of SAIL. And then once he became chairman of SAIL, he wanted to go on leave for a month. He told Nehru, I had already applied for the leave, my leave is already approved. He said, no, you don't go on leave. First join SAIL, because Prime Minister will not like it. And after that, you get the leave. He gets the leave and then goes. That is how the story of SAIL started. But this priorities for action which he started, and that were converted into all kind of, big movement in SAIL. There used to be a meeting by top management, and then that will come to, percolate down to us. Those days, these days now the culture is of interaction. In our time it was only top down. Nobody can question the top management. So as management trainee, I think assistant manager, junior manager. So all our junior managers are also invited to the workshop. Our MD office nominated us in the workshop in Durgapur. So in that workshop, Mr. Krishnamurthy was not there, but MD was there. MD, the local plant. So I was told by people that in my area I should ask the questions. I was in materials management department at that time. So I asked few questions to the ED works. So his face started changing. So, but ED personnel said, don't get annoyed because these are the questions. Krishnamurthy has asked them too. So don't. So, like me, many boys questioned somebody questioned ED personnel, somebody questioned ED. So that is how our style got developed. And there was people always fear of unions, asking them for work. So Mr. Krishnamurthy had very few good managers at that time. So he told them that, see, you tell your boys, though I may not be physically available, but I am behind their back all the time. And somehow, those initial 5 years when Krishnamurthy was there, we all felt he is there, standing there behind us. But that kind of feeling I have never got in my life. But when Krishnamurthy was there, we always used to get this feeling that he is standing here. I don't know why, because when he was chairman, I never met him. I used to interact, because I was only junior manager and chairman is a huge difference, but we used to follow what he used to say, strongly follow what he used to say. So his first thing he did, I think I missed the story of overtime. Then he changed the culture of overtime. He said, no overtime. Nobody will sign. Then MDs and everybody said, this is kind of a holy cow. Why you want to change? People will not work. He said, please, don't know if nobody wants to agree to this overtime, withdrawal of overtime, He said, you please resign. So, he just introduced, and in his book he narrates, somebody asked, like Professor I asked him question, why did you insist for overtime? Only bill at that 6 crores. This is not a question of 6 crores. He said this change of timing, 10 to 9, and similarly this overtime is a matter of discipline. He did. So that is, he believed in kind of a big communication with people, not only in this, and he succeeded. Those days, he also believed that public perception of the organization is very important. So he encouraged people to go for big communication. I believe Mr. Krishnamurthy must be the first person from Indian public sector to be featured in Financial Times in the year 1987.
Absolutely right.
I wanted to bring that article, but I couldn't go to sale. It is there in our sale news. Financial Times, London, he was the first person, maybe other, but probably he was the first person in 1987. With the reference to sale, he was featured in Financial Times. In 1989, he had a competition with this Mr. Rusi Modi to be the businessman of the year. And Mr. Krishnamurthy was selected. Nobody thought that Krishnamurthy will be selected. Where the selection committee entirely consisted of private sector. Only one secretary was there. Businessman, Business India, Businessman of the Year, those people are here. This is a big thing even today. They don't select easily. Business India, the Businessman of the Year comes on the cover story. On the cover. SAIL had a first cover in 1989, another had 2006. So that kind of a gap. Otherwise, covers you can get in any magazine. But Business India, I must say that they are very particular about the cover, featuring on the cover.
So this is mentioned, the story I mentioned.
That's very good. So they said, why did they select Krishnamurthy was that if Krishnamurthy would have failed, the entire Indian public sector would have to be written off. That was the thing. So he has called him Pitamaha not for nothing. So I have a lot of things to narrate about him, but I can't, due to the limitation of time. I will only say that his belief in the human power was superb. And those days public sector people, we had a kind of a inferiority complex. So he said, you are inferior to none. To instill that feeling, I do not know how many people were trained. People like me and senior level people were trained by Indian Institute of Management. They don't step out of their, IIM Ahmedabad people, they don't step out of their college. People have to go there for training. But we were lucky that they came to Mintiai Ranchi for 1 month. Professor Kalra, Professor Rao, for 1 month we were trained by them. Just to remove this feeling of the junior level people, senior, everybody was trained by IIM Ahmedabad. And senior people were also sent abroad. He has perfect belief on training. Similarly, many things he did, I can't narrate the whole thing. But I will read out few quotes by those MDs. Krishna, for any change to be long lasting, people, the boys here will know about, everybody would be knowing about Kotter, change management philosophy of Professor Kotter of USA. So Kotter always believed that you should have a change should cover large number of people. You should bring some kind of sense of urgency. And also you have a guiding coalition. You should have people to carry it forward after you. So Mr. Krishnamurthy not only focused on MDs, focused on junior people like me, then focused on middle management, focused on slightly higher management, the people who were general managers at that time, or managers. So suppose I have a quote from Mr. Y.P. Sharma. He was managing director of Durgapur Steel Plant. In 1984, he was general manager, I believe. What Mr. Sharma says, that Dr. Krishnamurthy applied multi-dimensional approach. Krishnamurthy achieved what can be called organizational reform through continuous communication with various stakeholders. I am audible, boys? Frequent communication with trade unions resulted in quick improvement in workforce. See, what happened in unions, there was always a complaint that unions are not working. So Krishnamurthy in one of the meetings told the union that you people are not working. You know, unions gave very standard and fantastic reply. They said your management has to ask us to work. And that message was communicated to us. From then onwards, you were never afraid of asking workers to work. Because different plants had different story, but Eastern India was a different background.
Right.
And you know, he brought in at that time the culture of technology. We brought technology manual was brought out for entire sale. And then not only this, technology manual was brought out, personal manual was updated, standard operating procedures for maintenance were implemented. We are using furnace oil at a big cost in Durgapur. It was reduced. But we attacked each and every point which we can improve the cost. And then, you know, another Mr. K.K. Khanna, I don't know whether you met him in Delhi. What K.K. Khanna says that Krishnamurthy was a great manager and leader who effectively changed the entire work culture of sale. And Mr. Khanna says, I have personally observed him from working in this way. And one of the boys, like young boys like me, he says, when I was working as assistant in Bihari, he used to interact with me and take inputs. And this is another important point, you know, these people, the senior people would be somehow anything will happen in the plant and Krishnamurthy will know. Sitting in Delhi, what is happening in Bokaro, 1500 kilometers away, Mr. Krishnamurthy knows. And one Mr. Nilotpal Rai was MD, that time manager when Krishnamurthy was there, but he became MD in 2007. He says, I have not come across a man who encompassed all the things of the public, all the things a manager, a person has. See, reams and reams can be written about him. I can go on speaking, but I'm looking at your face. So,
Everybody. We try to involve as many as possible.
See, modernization of Durgapur steel plant, modernization of Burnpur, modernization of Rourkela steel plant, that would now never have materialized only because of him.
Wonderful.
And change of work culture. The biggest thing was change of confidence. See, he not only influenced the life of the people who are working in public sector, in and around the communities. See, public sector, we had sale at that time, 2.5 lakh employees. Today, how many? 50,000. And all 2,50,000 he covered for communication. Madam, dealing those days with unions was a big problem. Today, unions are much more moderated. They were, stubborn. They were militant. Nowadays, the influence of wealth and everything, they have also moderated. But they were militant people. And he changed everybody. So I will only say, I am too small a man to talk about that. I go to Brahma Kumaris, there they say that you can cut the entire forest and the entire sea, and still you cannot finish the story. So same I will say, sea can be made into the ink, and the tree can be made into the pen, the forest. Still Krishnamurthy's story cannot be finished. I must say that he was a great man who influenced public sector and continues to influence. The day he left for his MLA abroad, one of the leading newspapers of India, I think his story was covered by almost 20-30 newspapers that he passed away. And Business Line carried the turnaround man is no more. And Business Line, forcing Business Line that anything is impossible. Economic Times, NDTV. And I got calls from PTI, sir, tell us something about Mr. Krishnamurthy. So he was like that. Thank you, Professor Iyer. Thanks a lot. Anytime I would like to talk to him in detail. These are just snippets. These are only not even snippets about him. Thank you, sir. I am extremely sorry if I have taken extra time.
No, I needed one connect because there are many people, most of the CMDs are here, but Single Saab is one very interesting connect, and I know we have a paucity of time, as I can understand. We have to do a lot of things here, but I would now request Baba Saab to quickly tell us in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm cutting time because time management is important for me also. I'm doing the Krishnamurthy work now. So quickly बताइएगा sir, in your own opinion from the PSU.
Quickly ये बता सकते हैं. Good evening to everybody on the dais, and good evening everybody sitting before the dais, right? Quickly बताने का जहाँ तक सवाल है कि I have gone through I had a peep into the book you have written. And I would say instead of narrating what is written there, because otherwise the interest of book will lose up, right? And Singhal Saab ne बहुत कुछ बताया है which is not written in the book also. That interest about the book has already been developed, right? Since we are sitting at a place where young audience is there, and why we are writing this book? Because we want someone should learn from that experience and something to transmit. And the stature of Pitamaha was such that we could not dream to meet him in person in those days. That was the aura. And we were blessed that we, जैसे होता है ना कोई आदमी वैष्णो देवी जाके आता है तो आदमी उसको भी प्रणाम करता है कि हाँ ये वैष्णो देवी को होके आया है. तो हमारे कुछ बॉसेज ऐसे जिन्होंने उनके साथ बहुत क्लोजली काम करा था और वी यूज्ड टू फील ब्लेस्ड कि हाँ उनके साथ कर रहे हैं, who has worked with him. So that was thing. Professor N.K. Singh, V.K. Mathur, and they were all. And then क्या होता है कभी कभी जब आपके पेरेंट्स बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस्ड होते हैं तो आप बोलते हैं मेरी मदर ऐसे कहती थी, है ना, वो ऐदा बीजी ऐदा कहते सी. तो उसका मतलब ये कि यू आर वेरी मच इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय देम. The bosses with whom I worked, and they always used to say कि Mr. Krishnamurthy ऐसे करते थे, वो ऐसे करते थे. And then we used to realize कि यार he had an aura which they are influenced by, and that is the reason we are blessed that we are being transmitted something out of that. So that is something which the student should look for. And now the question to the student who is sitting opposite is very important, because public sector has been shamed a lot. Public sector has been stressed a lot, and then there are some good examples which we must learn and we must try to replicate them. So my question is, do you want to become a pioneering leader or not? Yes, sir. You want to be, right? So then there is something in that book if you want to be. And you need to be you need a dose of adrenaline for your day-to-day activities or not? And not that do you need a dose of adrenaline or not? You need. It is not that adrenaline which you will find in capsules, right? It is a motivational. So that is the mind and philosophy of Mr. Krishnamurthy, and I have gone through that book and I have gone through his philosophy, and I would try to sum up in 5-6 barometers which you people must think that if you have that, or if you try to inculcate that, I am sure you will reach somewhere there, right? And what he was, what made him so is that he was a self-starter. He was a self-starter, right? And a person who is sufficiently motivated to move forward without the help of others, whatever you do, work at it will touch your heart. And जैसे बोलते हैं कि आपने कुछ काम करना है, you do it as you're working it for the Lord. Lord is looking. The same way you must think कि मेरे बॉस ने काम दिया और मेरे को करना है. And that's the reason he said कि Prime Minister ने बोला. Other day I was talking to one of my other office about our office. He said कि मेरे को Prime Minister ने बोला कि फलाना एयरपोर्ट बनाना है. And he said कि only a mad CEO will accept that. What is that? He said कि फलाना airport 6 महीने में बनाना. I am not giving the name of that, otherwise it will come into some controversies because it's very active nowadays. तो he said कि airport बनाना है, मेरे को 6 महीने में चाहिए. उन्होंने कहा नहीं हो सकता. उन्होंने कहा होना ही है, होना ही है. तो ये लोग उस टाइप के थे ना, इन्होंने सीखा नहीं था. राइट. सो यू शुड बी ए नंबर 1 सेल्फ स्टार्टर. पीछे देख के नहीं चलना है. यू विल हैव टू बी सेल्फ स्टार्टर. आर यू लिसनिंग? So number 1, you should be a self-starter, which he was. And then you should be intrinsically motivated. What motivates you? A pat, a chat, or a good work. You do it, you yourself feel कि आज मैंने एक अच्छा काम कर दिया है और I should feel motivated. So motivation को दूसरा नहीं देगा. He was getting a self-motivation. Right? He was a self-starter and he was finding motivation in his work himself. And then you should be able to rally others to a cause. आपको वो ऐसा काम करना है जो आप दूसरे आदमी आपको अप्रिशिएट भी करें and they should also like to emulate you. Right? That's it. And then you should be creative enough for being imaginative. Other day I was talking to someone, he said कि ideas rule the world. Ideas rule the world. And how you will get the ideas? Once you are pure, you are pious, you have got a peace, your satisfaction, and then you will get the ideas. And ideas are very perishable. There are different balls. Used to tell me ideas are very perishable. Even if you get an idea in your dream, you must have a notebook and pen to your bedside. Write it and forget it. But if you keep on thinking about that idea, probably you will block the other ideas which you are going to get. So ideas are very perishable. Write it and forget and start thinking that you will get another good idea. Because ideas are not in isolation. Ideas and ideas, there is a wall of ideas, and only then the strong wall you will create if you get the bricks by brick. So right, he was of that man. And officer used to tell me that Krishnamurthy used to have a system of writing the ideas and then pinning in them. And then in the morning, first thing when he will come to the office, he will discuss about that. Whether that is possible or not is different issue. But he said, I thought about that. So maybe if he has given 10 ideas, 2 will be got picked up, and then work will be got done. And then you should be a bridge builder. You should connect people. You should bring people together. So these are some qualities. So anybody has noted that? If not, I am repeating. Please note down. Right? You should be a self-starter. You should be intrinsically motivated about your work, about yourself, and you should be able to rally others for a good cause. You should be creative, innovative, and being imaginative. You must be imaginative. Don't think, other day we were talking, there was a student who was asked to paint, and then he painted the mountain as blue, and he was getting a very pat from the teacher. You don't know what is the color of mountain? He was very innocent child. Ma'am, I went and I saw the mountain was blue. He said, where you went? She said, I went to Leh. Ma'am, when the mountains are blue. She said, I never gone to Leh. So like that, you should be imaginative. Imagination comes, you should have a belief and trust in that. So that, and last is that you should be a bridge builder, and that will take you somewhere. And time is short, but probably whatever I have written, I will share that content as a summary form. And he was a highly motivator. And there are many pieces of, all these people who are sitting here, they are good motivators from us. And they got the light from others. Light by light, we are living together. I think this we should keep that kindling on, right? Thank you very much. All the best, right? Thank you.
May I now request the senior most Dr. V.K. Garg to say a few words, and then we'll go to the awards function. Garg sir, please. And short, because हमारी time का थोड़ा सा constraint है.
Well, good evening, everybody on the dais and the dear audience. I had brief interactions with Dr. Krishnamurthy. First, when I was an officer trainee in 1974, perhaps one of the earliest contact than anybody in this entire audience. So that was 1974. When we were training, there was a Bureau of Public Enterprise and there used to be Dr. Bazle Karim, who said that you must meet two persons. One is Mr. S.S. Marathe and one is he was not doctor at that time, Mr. V. Krishnamurthy. Okay, fine. Met Mr. Krishnamurthy, and then one was Mr. Raghavan in STC. The two management experts at that time, budding, I would say. Met him, then after completing probation, I was posted to the Ministry of Industry. 75, then I went out, again came back in 1980 and found that Mr. Krishnamurthy is Secretary Heavy Industry. And his room was opposite Dr. Jalan's room. So while I was reporting to Dr. Bimal Jalan, so once in a while I found while going for a meeting or especially for the Parliament question day for the officers gallery, so I used to accompany Dr. Bimal Jalan and they both used to go talking. After that, एक दिन मिले, हमने कहा सर कुछ tip देंगे how to proceed further. Then he said just two things, make sure you deliver. That was 1980. And then thereafter, it was a long time. I met him in 2008. No, 2006, sorry. When I was doing this ultra mega power projects in PSE. These were 20,000 crore rupees projects to be done. Because I had talked to the minister and the मैंने कहा सर ये 250-500 मेगावाट के कितने प्लांट लगाएंगे, इतना बड़ा कंट्री है और इतनी डिमांड है, हाइड्रो की हमारे पास लिमिटेशन है, वी कैन नॉट गो बियॉन्ड ए साइज, तो व्हाई नॉट टू हैव ए गुड pit head based plants or the coastal plants. So the idea turned out that we should have 7 4,000 megawatt plants each at pit head as well as in coastal. And these were all to be done through the open bidding. Met Mr. Krishnamurthy said, this is, again, you said that public sector should get autonomy. And I had the full autonomy to do this. And the time is 1.5 years to complete the process. I want to complete it 6 months before it in 1 year. He said, yes, do it, but don't forget. I said, I remember, you told me when I was in the training, concentrate on delivery, you must deliver. And as the bidding process was going on, some well-wishers all over the government planning commission, they were asking, अरे भाई कोई bid आई क्या? हमने कहा सर अभी तक तो कोई नहीं आई. 3:30 was the bidding time. Between 3 o'clock and 3:15, काफ़ी लोगों ने कहा भाई तुम बोलते थे कि कंपटीशन है और the public sector enterprises should be allowed to deliver. So now you deliver. Only 15 minutes are left. हमने कहा भाई देखते हैं, आ गई तो ठीक है. We have tried our best. And if nothing comes, no regrets. The result and efforts are before everybody. By 3:30, there were 9 bids. And after that, and mind it, Dr. Krishnamurthy, though I was not in touch with him during this period, but he was monitoring how the things are proceeding. 9 bids came. I rang up the minister, told him, sir, we have received 9. Very good. Go ahead, do the evaluation. Sir, bids were opened, technically examined, financially we fixed a date, time. All the 9 bidders were invited, 1 person with 1 assistant. All their mobile phones to be kept out, all their laptops to be operated only in laptop mode and not with outside communication. The whole evaluation process for a 20,000 crore project was completed within 70 minutes with 0 representation. And credit goes to Mr. Krishnamurthy, who always pleaded that the public enterprise should be given freedom. And people may say anything, but I am a first-hand testimony to the fact that nobody interfered with the working, except those who wanted to do the lag polling ke bhai koi bid aayi kya. And after a lot of, I don't know what is the politics of the Indian private sector, the Reliance project, which even till date is the cheapest power in the country. कुछ 3 रुपए कितने पैसे उसकी अभी भी आती है price. But still the profitability of the company is not high, so it is not in the limelight. Then came the coastal power plant of Adani's. They gave a 25-year fixed tariff. I asked, भाई ये तुमने क्या किया? तुम्हारे फाइनेंस वाले नहीं हैं, तुम्हारे यहाँ मार्केटिंग वाला नहीं है, तुम सोचते हो कि 25 साल सैलरी फिक्स रहेगी, डीए फिक्स रहेगा, ऑल मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट, लॉबी, पीओएल सब फिक्स रहेगा. He said, साहब ले लेने दीजिए, उस वक्त देखेंगे. So then I conveyed to Mr. Krishnamurthy after I completed the whole thing, awarded the project. सर मैंने तो डिलीवर कर दिया, लेकिन जो मेरे सामने वाला है, whether he will deliver it to the consumer, because he says जब आएगा तो देखेंगे. And this is 16 years down the line today. I find the competition in 2 sectors has proved disastrous. One is the telecommunication. Competition, undercutting tariffs, reducing tariffs to have larger consumer base. The net result is the competition has itself eliminated the competition. Second is the solar power. In the solar power, the competition and the free enterprise, the competition has cut the competition to a level. Now people have taken projects just for the sake of taking it, and they are finding it technically and financially unviable. So this is where we'll end up when we talk of competition, free enterprise, and relaxed. So that is where Mr. Krishnamurthy had, of course, given a great emphasis on freedom of enterprise and competition, both. And this, for the sake of time, otherwise there was a lot of things to be said about Mr. Krishnamurthy. He was Secretary Heavy Industry, and it was only after he became Secretary people realized that he is not an IAS officer. And that led to a fight between IAS and non-IAS, because Mr. S.S. Marathe was also non-IAS. So the fellows realized that these 2 posts have gone out of our fold to non-IAS people. And then they got after Krishnamurthy and to cut him at the root. And they harassed him like anything on various issues. But still, he survived there, and he played a very effective and crucial role in the National Manufacturing Competitive Council. My last meeting with him was as chairman of the Manufacturing Competitive Council. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
In fact, my last chapter is on the NC, National Manufacturing, and I have written something which is which you people get a hand on it, and then you can realize what I told exactly about the ultra mega projects. And I cannot narrate the story right now, but I can tell you that we detected that the Chinese efficiency was not, and I proved it beyond doubt to the entire ministry, to all the people. The paper are lying. There is no supercritical technology with the Chinese friends of ours. It is with BHEL. So that's the congratulations to you. The 800 megawatt largest turbine in the country is only with BHEL, the best machine for supercritical. Please give a big hand to that company. Now, with the permission of the dais, so because of paucity of time, can I go ahead with my awards? Would have loved all to speak, but jaldi kariye, okay.
My apologies to the people in the dais and the students and the senior officers. Since 1986, in public sector, about 6 or 8 chairmen were there, and all of them had worked under Mr. V. Krishnamurthy. On the philosophy of what Mr. Garg said, deliver. And those people delivered, and there were 6 or 8 people who were chairman of PSU, but they worked under Krishnamurthy at different points of time. Thank you.
So today, 2 CMDs, because in honor of almost like starting back again and ensuring that the PSUs are in focus, the first award for today at the IPSE Awards 2024, the 6th awards, which is also started by thanks to Krishnamurthy's motivation, because we do the ENERTIA Awards, which is a top award of the energy and power sector. We do the Atal Shastri Markonomy Awards, where we give the economy and infrastructure awards. So here, the defense, mining, and the other PSUs get importance, including the public sector banks. So that's what I'm briefing. And now, first we start with the individual awards. We have PSC Vibhushan, and the first PSC Vibhushan award goes to KM Singh, who is the former CMD of NHPC and a man who has driven that company very successfully. One of the top PSUs of the country today. Since may I have the trophy, and so that the dais.
Falcon and INERTIA and all seniors who has contributed to select me as a winner for this award. In PSU I worked 38 years, and I can say only one thing: you do your duty irrespective of whether you are getting the result or not, but honestly.
We have none other than Shri R.N. Mishra, former chairman and managing director of SJVN, and he ran the most professional way, one of the top projects in the country. In fact, the largest project called the Ratna, a 1500 megawatt project, largest hydropower plant in the country, in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Please give a big round. A few words, Mr. Winner, but individual, but he could not come here. But I am announcing Sushil Kumar Suni, former founder and CEO of Osoko, is felicitated, and I will be giving the award personally to him in Mumbai. So he's not there amongst us. Another great man, because the Power System Operation Corporation of India is like the air traffic control, sir. It is the air traffic control equivalent of the power sector. So the gentleman is not here. He is in the midst of migration to Mumbai, so he could not come. Now I start, and I would request Inderdeep to please join the dais also to ensure that the company awards are actually taken care of. Let's give a big hand to the Please Calvert. थोड़ा फोटोग्राफी के लिए जगह देनी पड़ेगी सब तालियां बजाइए फिर a quick word or two from one person out of the teams. Best strategic central public enterprises in the area of guided missile defense system and allied tech. It is none other than Bharat Dynamics Limited. I have been interacting with Bharat Dynamics for a long time. The new team is here, and today we have Mr. Tyagi, who would be receiving it, because we understand that Lieutenant Colonel Kuldeep Singh could not come here. Am I right? Yes. So may I request Mr. Vivek Tyagi, Manager Finance BDL, to please receive this. तालियां कम नहीं होनी चाहिए। Mr. D.S.M. Murthy has come instead, and Mr. Ayush Mathur, right? Right, sir. Please give a big hand. It's one of the best companies. In fact, in engineering, there is no company like Iyer Engineers Limited. Am I right? Yes, sir. A few words. To public sector enterprise in India for defense, naval and shipbuilding, and this goes to Goa Shipyard Limited. May I request Colonel Rajiv Malhotra, AGM, to please receive the award. He's come all the way up for this function. They are making the Corvette class 3 frigate. It is one of the fastest acting frigates in the world, not only India. And it is a joint venture with Yantar of Russia, and this one will be fully manufactured at Goa Shipyard. Not a single component will come from outside. And it's under fast progress.
Thank you, sir.
I've been interacting with them. So today, unfortunately, they had a board meeting, so they could not come here, but they have sent a representative. So I think the CMDs will finally announce all this once the trophy reaches. This PSU is in the region where my family comes from, near Tanjore. It's not far off from Tanjore, Neyveli Lignite. Eyes up, you want to say a few words? Please give a big hand to both of them. A very specialized company in the area of manganese. Manganese is very important for our economy.
One more. Thank you, sir.
कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे सर?
दुनिया ही इसके ऊपर ही लगी हुई है और पूरी दुनिया इसके बारे में बात करेगी। तो अगर आप पूरी तरह ठीक करना चाहते हो अपने आप को, तो लीकी गट के ऊपर काम करो, और लीकी गट को ही ठीक करने से हमारी पूरी मीन्स फिंसी से लेके कैंसर तक हम ठीक कर सकते हैं इससे। तो ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एरिया है, अभी बहुत न्यू है, इसको समझाने और समझने के लिए काफ़ी टाइम चाहिए। और ऐसा इमीडिएट समझना मीन्स 2-3 वर्ड में 10 वर्ड में समझना बड़ा टफ जॉब है। अगर आप मीन्स जो जितनी भी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, चाहे वो हेयर फॉल की प्रॉब्लम हो, चाहे वो रैशेस की प्रॉब्लम हो, चाहे वो सोराइसिस की प्रॉब्लम हो, चाहे वो कैंसर की प्रॉब्लम हो, सभी चीज़ें हमारी जो होती हैं सिर्फ ओनली लीकी गट की वजह से होती हैं। लीकी गट क्यों होती है? डिसबायोसिस ऑफ माइक्रोबायम्स की वजह से होती है। डिसबायोसिस ऑफ माइक्रोबायम क्या चीज़ है? जब हमारा गुड बैक्टीरिया और बैड बैक्टीरिया का जो बैलेंस है वो डिस्टर्ब होता है, तभी हमारा डिसबायोसिस होता है। डिसबायोसिस को ठीक कैसे करा जा सकता है? हमारे पास मीन्स एलोपैथी में इसका कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं है, इसमें आयुर्वेदा में ही सोल्यूशन है। अगर आयुर्वेदा को हम अच्छे से अडॉप्ट करते हैं, उसको थोड़ा साइंटिफिक व्यू में लेके चलते हैं, तो हर चीज़ प्रैक्टिकल है। बिना मेडिसिन के हम पूरी लाइफ जी सकते हैं। एक स्वस्थ अगर भारत को हम बनाना चाहते हैं, तो हमारे को इसके ऊपर बहुत बहुत काम करना होगा। हमारी कंपनी ने पिछले 5 साल से इसके ऊपर काम किया और लास्ट 1 ईयर से प्रोडक्ट को हमने लॉन्च किया। उसका जो फ़ायदा हुआ लोगों को, इतना फ़ायदा हुआ भी, आप जो डिज़ीज़ की बात करो उसको क्योर भी करेगा, और जो डिज़ीज़ आपको अभी नहीं है लाइफ टाइम होने भी नहीं देगा, ऐसी उसके अंदर ताकत है। मीन्स ताकत प्रोडक्ट की नहीं है, ताकत हमारी बॉडी की है। जो नेचर ने सबसे बड़ी क्रिएशन है ना, जो हमारी बॉडी, इससे बड़ा कोई वैद नहीं है कहते हैं, इससे बढ़िया कोई फैक्ट्री नहीं है, केमिकल फैक्ट्री नहीं है। हमारे अंदर जो चीज़ की भी ज़रूरत होती है, हमारी केमिकल फैक्ट्री जिसको हम माइक्रोबायम्स बोलते हैं, जो दिखने में नहीं आते हैं, लेकिन वही हमारे लिए सभी मेडिसिन क्रिएट करते हैं अपने आप, जो बॉडी की ज़रूरत है। बट हमारी जो पेस्टिसाइड की जो इश्यूज़ की वजह से हम उसको अपने आप को डिस्टर्ब कर लिया, जो अपनी बॉडी को डिस्टर्ब कर लिया, जो अपने माइक्रोबायम को डिस्टर्ब कर लिया। दैट्स वाई वी आर ओनली जो डिज़ीज़ के साथ लड़ाई कर रहे हैं। अदरवाइज़ हमारे को किसी डिज़ीज़ को अगर हमने बचाना है, किसी डिज़ीज़ से बच्चे के रहना है, तो ओनली आपको माइक्रोबायम्स को ठीक करना है। आप माइक्रोबायम्स के बारे में थोड़ा सा स्टडी करोगे, गूगल करोगे, तो आपको बहुत कुछ मालूम पड़ेगा। और लीकी गट इज़ द ओनली मीन्स क्रिटिकल वे जिसकी वजह से हम बीमार होते हैं। तो लीकी गट को ठीक करने के लिए सिर्फ आपको किस पे काम करना है? ओनली माइक्रोबायोटा पे काम करना है, तो अपने आप चीज़ें ठीक होती हैं। तो मैं बहुत ज़्यादा अभी मीन्स अगर आपको बहुत ज़्यादा सीखना है, करना है, तो हम मीन्स कुछ क्लासेस भी लेते हैं हमारे यूट्यूब के ऊपर। कुछ वीडियोस भी हैं, आप उसको अगर जानोगे तो देखोगे तो वीटा सेंटिका का भी आप थोड़ा सा देखोगे, वीटा सेंटिका के यूट्यूब पे जाके देखोगे तो काफ़ी कुछ समझाया है उसके ऊपर माइक्रोबायोम्स के बारे में, तो आप देख सकते हो। तो बहुत मीन्स नया सब्जेक्ट है, अभी हमने इंडिया में स्टार्ट किया है और हमारा जो टारगेट है 10 करोड़ लोगों को कम से कम इंडिया के अंदर बिना मेडिसिन के और लाइफ टाइम बिना किसी मेडिसिन के रहने के लिए 10 करोड़ लोगों का जो टारगेट है वो हमने स्टार्ट किया है। ओनली 1 ईयर में हमने अप्रॉक्सीमेट 5000 से ज़्यादा क्रिटिकल लोगों को मीन्स उस प्रॉब्लम से निकाला है, जैसे सोरेसिस जैसी प्रॉब्लम से, और मीन्स और जैसे जो स्किन की जो बहुत क्रिटिकल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उनसे मीन्स उनसे लोगों को उबारा है। तो ये सभी चीज़ें एक ही चीज़ से ठीक हो सकती हैं। आज लोगों का हेयर फॉल की बहुत बड़ी समस्या है, वो भी सिर्फ लीकी गट ठीक करने से ठीक हो सकती है। अगर किसी को डाइजेशन का इशू है वो भी लीकी गट की वजह से ठीक हो सकता है। आईवीएस आपने सुना होगा, आईवीएस का कोई मेडिकल साइंस में कोई मीन्स इलाज नहीं है। वो आईवीएस होता क्यों है? सिर्फ लीकी गट की वजह से है। अगर आप लीकी गट ठीक करते हो तो आईवीएस अपने आप ठीक हो जाता है। मीन्स हमारी जितनी जड़ है, जो बीमारियों की जड़ है, वो ओनली लीकी गट है। तो हमें मीन्स इसके ऊपर काम करने की ज़रूरत है। हम एक छोटी कंपनी है, हम कोई बहुत बड़ी कंपनी नहीं है, लेकिन हमारा जो टारगेट है वो मीन्स 10 करोड़ परिवारों तक पहुंचने का है। नेक्स्ट 10 ईयर में हमारा जो टारगेट है हम अचीव करेंगे, क्योंकि हमारे साथ जो लोग अभी जुड़ रहे हैं, बड़े बड़े डॉक्टर हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं और बड़े बड़े लोग जो अपने मार्केट के अंदर अपनी पहचान रखते हैं वो हमारे साथ अभी अपने आप आ रहे हैं। कहाँ कहाँ से फ़ोन आते हैं हमें मालूम नहीं है, बट लोग अपने आप ही जुड़ते जा रहे हैं। मीन्स हमने स्टार्ट एक सिर्फ सिंगल मीन्स 2-4 लोगों से हमने स्टार्ट किया था। आज आपको जान के खुशी होगी 30,000 लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं सर विद इन ईयर। तो ये जो काफिल है, तो हमारा जो टारगेट है मीन्स 10 करोड़ लोगों तक पहुंचने का 10 साल में, और इसका मीन्स इतना ज़बरदस्त फ़ायदा होता है। आप लोग ज़रूर मीन्स बीटा सेंटिका को सर्च करके एक बार उसके बारे में ज़रूर जानो, ताकि हम अपने परिवार को, हमारे समाज को और हमारे देश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए स्वस्थ कर पाएँ। और बिना मेडिसिन के, मेडिसिन का लोड हमारे देश के ऊपर बहुत है और हमारा कितना बजट तो उसी में चला जाता है। तो हम मीन्स बहुत ही इकोनॉमिकल उसको सेटल कर सकते हैं, बहुत ही कम पैसे से उसको सेटल कर सकते हैं। सेकंड थिंग, केमिकल खाने से हमारी इतने लॉसेज हो रहे हैं बॉडी के, जो हम मीन्स उसको कल्पना नहीं कर सकते। उसी की वजह से कितनी नई नई डिजीज़ हमारे अंदर आ रही हैं। मीन्स जो कैंसर इतना बढ़ गया है उसको यहीं पर रोका जा सकता है, ओनली सिर्फ माइक्रोबायोम को ठीक करने से, ओनली लीकी गट ठीक करने से। मीन्स गारंटेड है। अगर आप उसके सर्च पेपर देखोगे, इतनी यूएस के अंदर, यूरोप के अंदर प्रॉपर रिसर्च हो रही है इसके ऊपर और लोग लगे हुए हैं इसके ऊपर। बाय गॉड ग्रेस, ईश्वर ने हमारे को उस चीज़ को मीन्स उस चीज़ को पहले दिया जिसको दुनिया ढूंढ रही है। तो मीन्स मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि आने वाले कुछ ही दिनों में आपको इस चीज़ को भी पूरे इंडिया के अंदर आपको इसकी नॉइज़ सुनेगी। और 30,000 लोग ओनली 1 ईयर में मीन्स बहुत बड़ी बात है। वो हमारे लिए भी हम मालूम नहीं था हमारे को जब हमने स्टार्ट किया था ऐसा, लेकिन 30,000 लोग एक साल में, और अगले एक साल में हमारे इस हिसाब से 3 लाख लोग से ज़्यादा जुड़ेंगे हमारे साथ। और उम्मीद करता हूँ जो 10 करोड़ का हमारा टारगेट है, विद इन 10 ईयर हम इसको अचीव करेंगे और बिना बीमारी, बिना दवाई के इसको अचीव करेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लिसनिंग।
I want to tell you one thing. I had a heart operation in March 2023. So I am a live example. 3 blockages right in front. Why I brought this gentleman? Because my colleague was doing the whole thing. मैं तो यहाँ था ही नहीं, वो और उनकी वाइफ कर रही थी। फिर ये जो मैं KISAN करके इनका एक प्रोडक्ट ले रहा हूँ, इट इज़ फॉर ओनली गट बायो। इट्स अ सिंपल प्रोडक्ट। बेसिकली यू हैव टू टेक इट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, मतलब जब आप सोने के पहले, और थोड़ा गर्म पानी में ले ले तो अच्छा है, लुकवार्म। इट डज नथिंग, यू हैव नॉट ईट आफ्टर दैट एनीथिंग। मतलब आपने कुछ खाना नहीं है सुबह तक। आपको मैं बिलीव नहीं करूँगा, 2 एक्सपीरियंस बताता हूँ। आई हैड अ मीटिंग विद द अदानी ग्रीन एनर्जी दैट डे व्हेन आई फ्लू फ्रॉम मुंबई। आई हैड नो स्लीप, absolutely literally, because of the way the flight system was. This is about a couple of months back. And then I landed. My metabolism did not change. And the meeting, my junior and colleague Vineet Jain, who is the MD of Adani Green Energy, even he was feeling sleepy, but I did not feel sleepy. So it was such a situation that I had a 1-hour meeting, important. I did it very well. And later on in the evening I was there. मैंने उस रात सोया नहीं था मैं, तो मैं अगली रात सोया। मैंने कहा ये तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है आफ्टर ऑल दिस. आई वॉज ऑफ कोर्स इन द सेम सिचुएशन बिफोर. आई हैड अ लॉट ऑफ एनर्जी लाइक दैट, बट मैं पूरा एक दिन बिना सोए अगले दिन तक चलाना वॉज नॉट पॉसिबल एंड विदाउट चेंजिंग माई मेटाबॉलिज्म. आई एम टेलिंग यू ओनली दैट इज द चेंज दैट आई ब्रॉट द लास्ट 45 days. तो ये एक छोटी सी एक्सपेरिमेंट. और अभी भी कुछ हुआ. लास्ट वीक आई केम 10 days back I came to Delhi. I had similar situation, that very similar situation. I thought that could be a fluke, let me see. So I had no sleep. The flight में 2 घंटे भी नहीं सोया था. मतलब it's not a sleep what you talk about in the flight. I landed here, continued, and I'm telling you, not an ounce of my energy was down. Everything was intact. I'm telling you, I'm getting in. First few days, 6-7 days, I was feeling a little bit nervous because he said that may happen because you get your acidic components out, and that few days it actually takes it out. It did it, but when I continued it, I'm telling you, touch wood, my friends. You see me like this here, it's not possible without adopting some Ayurveda, because my diabetic also I have controlled through Ayurveda. That is my own work. I can explain to you any day what I did, right? मैंने कैसे इसको किया, because allopathy was taking away my hairs. Everything would have gone out, actually. मैंने उसको रोका, बंद किया. वो तो मेटमॉर्फिन ही दे देंगे आपको, वही, और करना कुछ नहीं है डॉक्टरों ने. But I am away from it. We also come from the Ayurveda school. It's one of my favorite subjects. We come from the Ullu family, from south. त्रिशूर के पास में है एक जगह, वहाँ से आते हैं, और हमारे ओरिजिन है कि हम उनसे रिश्ते में रहते हैं, मेरी नानी की यहाँ से. So Ayurveda is not something which is like donkey's business. It should not be done by people who want to do trade. It should be done by authentic Ayurvedic professionals and experts. So I hope this is a message I want to convey for health for all of us. I think Prashant wanted to say a few words, but I want Bansal Saab to close as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a great learning for all of us.
हाँ इधर आ जाइए ना सर, वो बेटर है ना. And then we'll have a group photo before we exit.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Professor Iyer. All very senior colleagues sitting in the dais. All the awardees, big congratulations to each one of you, to your company, and my friends and colleagues sitting here. Two small requests. Although आप जो लोग अवार्डीज हैं, जो लोगों को बहुत साथ काम करा उन्होंने कृष्णामूर्ति साहब के साथ, इनकी सबकी शायद वीडियोस रिकॉर्ड हुई हैं, बट आई रिक्वेस्टेड आवर प्रोफेसर कुणाल to just take you back to the studio and just kindly give 5 or 7 things that you would like to point out in one line. What made Krishnamurti great, or what things our students should learn from the conduct of Krishnamurti. Very precise, so that we can pass on those videos to our students. That's number one. And number two, of course, all the awardees, all the senior people. Our students are very keen at new learnings. I discussed with Institution of Engineers also. So please come up with whatever new learnings, whatever new internships, whatever new trainings, whatever new projects you can award them. We'll be very grateful to you. Thank you very much. All the very best, everybody.
A vote of thanks from Prashant Rabha, our North Eastern friend.
Good evening, everyone. It's not a something which okay, I can say this as a success mantra, because all these senior people are successful, and you people are very lucky that these people are in front of you. महीने लग जाते हैं किसी CMD से मिलने के लिए, अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं मिलती है, and you people are very lucky कि ये लोग आपके सामने हैं, इनसे सीखने का है. या नाउ कम टू द सक्सेस मंत्रा. सक्सेस मंत्रा आज के लिए जो मैं आपको बोलना चाह रहा हूँ, आपने लाइफ में जो भी करना है सेट कर लो कि हाँ मैंने ये करना है. वो सेट मतलब सेट है, आपको अपने लिए सेट करना है, कोई दूसरा नहीं बोलेगा आपको. उसमें आप शॉर्ट टर्म लगा लो, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग कर लो, सब कुछ कर लो विद फुल ज़ील, और उसी को ध्यान में रखना है. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, उसको करने के लिए आपको क्या करना है? यू हैव टू अटेन नॉलेज. कहीं से भी लो नॉलेज, किताबों से पढ़ो, गूगल से पढ़ो, आजकल तो डिजिटल का ज़माना है, कहीं से मिले. एक पीएन से मिलता है ज्ञान, उससे भी ले लो ज्ञान, नॉलेज. जहाँ से बड़े से मिलता है बड़े से, छोटे से मिलता है छोटे से, दादा से मिलता है दादा से. राइट नाउ कम जो आपने सोचा था पहले उसको कैसे लेना है, कैसे जानना है, ये सारे के सारे जो डिग्निटरीज है ना, these people have done understanding with their process and systems. हर कंपनी में प्रोसेस एंड सिस्टम चलते हैं, उस सिस्टम को समझा है, इम्प्लीमेंट किया है और सक्सेस गेन करी है. Am I right, sir? System and procedure has to be understood. Never go against the system and procedure until unless you do mastery over there, mastery on the subject. Now the last point, कि जो भी सोचा उसको लेना है साला, किसी भी तरीके से लेना है, और उसके लिए आप कुछ भी करो, उल्टा लटक जाओ, दिन में 1 घंटा पढ़ो चाहे 10 घंटे पढ़ो. Right? So my success mantra for today is set your goal, understand what you have to achieve, follow the process and system, उसको लेने के लिए, और जो सोचा उसको लेना है बस. Right? Thank you very much.
Inderdeep, one word, quick one, jaldi se, and then we close, and we will have.
Very good evening to all of you, stalwarts here. I represent Institution of Engineers India. We are a 100-year-old organization. And the purpose of Institution of Engineers India is not just to support engineering only, but community as a whole. We are a bridge between industry, academia, and stakeholders like PSEs. Now, important is how can we disseminate information, knowledge, capacity building. That's important. And I was talking to Bansal Saab also. I am privileged and I am happy that NDIM has come up all the way, and it's not just a business school. It is a business school which is amalgamating technology with it. So that's a more important. You have to be a technical as well as a commercial knowledge. So I think with your support, we'll devise a new mechanism and work out II and NDIM in a big way. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you.
So thank you all for the patience. May I request all of us to have a group photo. That's it, the last end of it. Whoever wishes to join, please, all the awardees first up, because that's the day for them. Iyer sir, awardees. Iyer sir, very important. आप लोगों का दिन. Thank you, sir.